Let's take you to the story now as we are looking at the influx of applicants who are hoping that they will be able to secure space at institutions of higher learning. And one such institution is the University of Johannesburg, and that's where we find my colleague Mfundo Babalane, who is on standby there to bring us the very latest. Mfundo?
Good afternoon or good evening, Bongiwe. Indeed, we are at the University of Johannesburg. This is the main campus in Kingsway, Auckland Park. And of course, the focus this week is on higher institutions of learning that received a record number of applications, more than, or at least that exceeds the capacity that they have. And specifically, when we look at the University of Johannesburg, they received a record 600,000 applications, Bongiwe. But unfortunately for them, their cap is 10,900. That's for the first year undergrad students. But we're joined today here at the university by the Vice-Chancellor, that's Professor Letlhokwa Mpedi, just to expand a bit more on this dilemma. And of course, stated this dilemma is not one unique to the university, but across all universities in the country. Good evening, Professor. Thank you very much for joining us on The Full View.
Good evening, Funda.
No, it's a pleasure to have you with us. As stated, you guys have received a record number of applications, 600,000 to be exact, but only have the capacity for 10,900. Most certainly quite a dilemma that possibly could demoralize a lot of students who work very hard. We were celebrating the matriculants not so long ago, a week ago, and now unfortunately probably 100,000 of them will not be accommodated at most of these universities. Just talk to us about this cap of 10,900 insofar as your university is concerned.
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity. Yes, we have this cap. Viewers will have to understand that we've got enrollment plans, which are agreements with the department, so we cannot go over the agreed number, otherwise we'll be severely penalized. So that is where we are. It pains us that we cannot accept every student that would like to study with us. But if I may add, there's one important point that people need to know. This over 600,000 applications, you find that one applicant has got two choices that he or she applied for, and many of these applicants also apply at other institutions of higher learning. Mm-hmm. So that's why this number may look shocking. Of course, it's excessive, but we need to keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Now, when listening to the Department of Higher Education, they've implored universities this time around in an effort to expand access. Mm-hmm. They have called on universities to perhaps look at online, to expand the number of programs that are online. Is this feasible?
Yes, it is. I mean, during COVID, we universities, managed to switch overnight, and offer quality education online. So at the University of Johannesburg, we are busy with what we call loosely at the moment the digital twin of the brick and mortar campus, which will launch later this year to expand access. And we're excited about that because we believe we can also offer quality education online. That is an option that institutions of higher learning should look at.
Mm-hmm. But you say that later this year, meaning those students will probably then benefit from this online expansion only in 2026, most certainly not now. Because if we're looking at the bachelor passes, we got just above 300,000, and the institutions of higher learning can only accommodate just over 200,000. So that 100,000 right now wouldn't be accommodated. Or is there something, at least when we speak up at the University of Johannesburg, can they do something for those students?
Yes, let me correct this. Our digital twin is operational as we speak.
All right.
We've got about 50 programs that are on offer, and we're going to add more, but we want to give it a proper name and launch it properly. But there are students that are signing up. When people inquire if they meet the requirements for the programs that are on that digital platform, we advise them about it. Of course, we want to add more programs. We won't be able to add 100,000 applicants. Yeah. But in that case, I would also advise those that couldn't get access, or be admitted at the University of Johannesburg, to also access the Central Applications Clearinghouse, which is a platform set up by the Department of Higher Education and Training to help match the students that are looking for placement. It opened on the 20th of this month and will close on the 31st of March of this year to try and match the students that couldn't be admitted at their preferred university.
Mm-hmm. So most certainly, given that you are well advanced insofar as the online is concerned, you're ahead of the curve since you have a number of programs that you offer there. But there's also the worry or concern by some that here you're dealing with first year students. Right. They would have to work independently. In as much as we would say COVID to a certain extent when we speak about these matriculants, gave them a bit of a window or glimpse into what independent learning would look like. But most certainly, the amount of work is voluminous when you look at institutions of higher learning. University is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Do you think that for first-year student, it would still be feasible for them, or it's mostly more beneficial for postgrad?
Yeah, it works for both, you know. We call this a digital twin of the brick and mortar campus or university, because we want the students to have a full experience, not just online learning and go away. We want students to be able to network. We want students to be able to access our online tutors. We have online tutor programs, do gaming, interact, because we want fully developed graduates. I mean, people will be able to interact with other people and so on. So our model is comprehensive. Students will be able to log in and ask for help from our psychological and counseling services and so on, because we want a holistic approach.
Now, Professor, where are we standing on this bridge? Very symbolic.
Yeah.
This is where once the university is opened, it would be a hive of activity. Most of the learners would be using this specific bridge. But today, a bit earlier on when we were here, we saw there was very little activity, something that is out of the ordinary, because if we go back to a very dark time for the university, 2012, there was a stampede. It's January. This would be the time where proud parents coming from all over the world, all over the country, to register their children. We saw what happened. One parent lost her life here. But today you have migrated completely to online, be it your admissions, even your registrations. Just talk to us about this decision to migrate completely to online.
Yeah, I mean, we have to make good use of these technologies. You know, it also provides convenience. Of course, it was said, you know, we lost a parent here, and valuable lessons had to be learned from that. And we started from then to develop, you know, world-class systems to help our students. But we also want to provide our students with this convenience. For example, as you may know, now students don't have to send photocopies of their IDs. They can take a selfie, and then facial recognition, they can register. I mean, I come from a village. I know the frustration of looking for a photocopier, going to a police station. So we also want to provide that convenience so that people don't just spend money to come here and queue and sometimes be disappointed. And after all, we're the university of the fourth industrial revolution.
Most certainly, and many are embracing technology, but there are also those that are still uncomfortable with that element of using online, because there is still limits where some people don't have perhaps these smartphones and all of this kind of technology that would assist them to do everything remotely. So do you still offer that at least human contact for those who cannot do any of this, where you are from a village, as you say, you'd have a parent who doesn't have any of this, but their child performed very well in matric?
Most definitely. We have other avenues. For example, we've got SEC, Student Enrollment Center, that will help. We've got a call center. We're using WhatsApp. We're using all sorts of other alternatives, and we don't chase people away. Where we can help and people show up, they need help, we do offer assistance. For example, with applications, other people may not have the, you know, the ability to connect. I mean, at my village, the internet connectivity is poor, even if you have data. So if they come here, we offer them a device, we help them apply online and support them. We have to.
All right, Professor, thank you very much for your time. Bongiwe, that was Vice Chancellor there, Letlhokwa Mpedi, speaking to us. Of course, we'll continue to be here at the University of Johannesburg. We'll be speaking to the registrar, because there's still a lot that we need to ask, specifically when it comes to some of the allegations from NSFAS, because they've just indicated that when it comes to them, if there are delays, to a certain extent, it is also the university's doing, where they wouldn't get all the registration data on time and therefore cannot pay all the monies that are due. So most certainly, hopefully you can come back to us in the next hour and we discuss a bit further here from the University of Johannesburg. It's back to you in studio.
All right, thank you very much, Mfundo. She's out there at the University of Johannesburg for us. You heard there from the university. They talk about the fact that they are now looking at some online options in order to be able to accommodate a number of students when it comes to access